Madam Secretary, thank you for being here. I'm sure you're not surprised that I want to talk about permitting reform, but before I do that, I feel like need to get a clarification from you on energy storage. There is a proposed facility in Cuffs Run in York County where they want to take 1,000 acres of land, flood 600 of it, erect a structure that exceeds the size and the dimensions of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge to create a large battery of water, not for anyone in Pennsylvania, but for people in Maryland, Washington, D.C., and Northern Virginia who have yet to live up to their responsibility as members of our grid. So, and while Cuffs Run is in my district, Muddy Run is in the chairman's district, the only beneficiaries of these projects are people in states that haven't lived up to their responsibility. I want to make sure that this land grab doesn't happen in my district and that this is something you are not supporting.
So this is something that I think you and I have talked about in the past. I think, you know, for the existing pump storage that's there, we would be supportive of keeping that, but I do think that it's not a great use of land. I think there are better uses of land.
I thank you very much for that, Madam Secretary. Want to talk about permit applications and the payback program. The governor announced that the payback program would provide refunds for certain types of permits if they are not processed within established timeframes. So it seems logical that DEP would share what those timelines are for specific types of permits. We have not been able to ascertain, it's really my understanding, that DEP does not have a list of permits and related timelines on your website. And I've been told that those who have asked for one have been told that it doesn't exist.
I'm going to toss this question to Ramez. He's our permitting
Absolutely.
guru.
Well, thank you for that question.
Thank you.
All the review timeframes are in the permit tracker. So if somebody has a pending permit application in the system, they can look up the status of that permit application in the permit tracker, and they can see on that page when it pops up the payback, the established payback review timeframe for that specific authorization.
Which is fabulous, and we're really glad that permit tracker is in place. It's really been a benefit to the regulated community. Is there a list somewhere on your website where they can go and say, okay, you know, this is the timeline for a 102, this is the timeline for a 105. Can they access that
Sure.
somewhere?
So on that piece, OTO just recently published the all the review timeframes for all permits, licenses, and certifications for all agencies on their website.
Fabulous. Is there a way to get what your permits are and get them on your website?
We can take that
or at
back.
least share it
Yeah.
with us, those specific permits, their associated timelines, and give us a better understanding of what the expectations are under the payback program?
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Fabulous. Fabulous. Thank you very much. Obviously, knowing what that timeline is before you begin the permitting process, I think can be really, really helpful.
So we are working on not just kind of the payback timeframe, which I call the worst case scenario. We're also developing those average timeframes, which are where we're kind of at now. So it's a little different than the payback timeframe, which is worst case scenario. So I think we are working to develop that and put that on our website as well.
Fabulous. One of those permitting issues that continues to be a major hurdle, especially for home builders, and really a costly expense for new homeowners, is NPDES permitting. I'm working with a number of colleagues here in the Senate on ways that we can reduce the costs and barriers for housing. Affordable housing is a big conversation happening in Pennsylvania and all across the country. Right now in Pennsylvania, any project that involves more than 1 acre triggers that NPDES permit. We'd like to increase that acreage amount. Do you have any feedback for us? The feedback that we're hearing is this is something that builders, realtors, advocates for affordable housing say could be a huge benefit and reduce the cost of achieving homeownership?
Yeah, so I would probably not advocate for increasing the amount of acreage before you have to get a permit, just because I think in Pennsylvania, we have a pretty unique situation. We have more water resources than any other state in the country, except for Alaska, which means very quickly a site could cause damage to our water resources. So that's why I think Pennsylvania, we have a permitting framework, I think, that really takes that into consideration. However,
The feds allow us to go higher than that 1 acre.
because I think when you look at the country as a whole, Pennsylvania, we're very, very wet. We have a lot of wetlands. We have a lot of creeks and streams, 83,000 miles of it. But what I will say is that we have tried to make the permitting processes specifically for those homeowners or those home builders to be able to get a much simpler permit than has been available in the past. So we have a PAGO1 permit for 1 to 5 acres of disturbance that is significantly easier to get than a
But
PAGO2.
what's the cost? What is the cost? I recognize
Yeah.
you're making things simpler, but you know what? When you're trying to build a home, it adds significant cost. So what is the average cost?
I think, I mean, it would depend on if they use a consultant or if they're able to develop the plan themselves. What they would have to pay the consultant. We're trying to make it as simple that they don't have to use a consultant, that it could be something very easy that we could look at.
Well, I can tell you a simple reverse subdivision land development plan to combine acreage can cost a person over $6,000 in York County, right? So just think about that. That's a really simple thing that someone could do. So I would strongly encourage you to consider increasing the number of acres that would trigger that NPDES, because I do believe that we all agree making housing more affordable is a good goal, and this is one simple way that we could do it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.